I'm going to ask you a question. I'd like, if you were, to answer honestly. I'd like you to tell me why. The question is this: what kind of mouse are you? Which kind of mouse would you rather be? The country mouse or the city mouse? You could probably say that Chainsaw Man is a story almost entirely based around this old fable, couldn't you? I've been thinking about that question posed by Rize and then countered by Makima. I've been thinking about which I'd rather be and which I am at heart. The country mouse, you see, lives a quiet life, full of soft and serene moments. The country mouse plays it safe, I think, does not overreach its position. I think we all know a few different country mice in our lives. We might even be them ourselves, or maybe we want to be them. I think a lot of people these days want to be the country mouse. I don't think it matters the place or the kind of person you are. I think a lot of people in this era of turbulence and chaos just want warmth, serenity, quiet. People want stability, food to eat, water to drink, a home and hearth by which to warm ourselves, a partner, a paramour, a lover, husband, or wife, whatever you call it. And I think that's why the characterization of Denji and Rize connects so strongly with people in this time. And I think it's because there are a lot of things that can be pursued these days, individual pleasures. And that is why, although Rize has a mission, a pursuit, a hunt, when Denji spits out a flower and gives it to her, she laughs and smiles and decides, hey, fuck it. Because in this moment, she can live that quiet little fantasy. She can savor this moment of unserious, playful, mundane beauty. She goes along with it, yes, to get closer to Denji in her hunt, of course, but I think that during most of their moments together, she is also hypocritically actually having fun. She let life take hold of her and just continued, just went with the flow. You know what that feels like, I know you do, when by happenstance or circumstance or other chance you let yourself fall into a moment? A simple, small, blissful moment, just for an instant, or perhaps a few arranged together so seamlessly that they bleed into one another and just continue. Can you recall? I can recall Friday afternoons in my high school. I didn't much care for high school overall, but there were some Fridays in autumn when I could smell the red and yellow inking into the green leaves. I would get out of class early, you see, for I had good grades and rarely had a study hall, and if my grades fell, well, you can always skip a class or two, right? On those days, there was a diner I would walk to, and each time I entered, I would order the same thing, a chili cheeseburger with fries, and each time it felt like the moment blissfully repeated. It's like a part of me was always there, still is there, reliving that same simple, mundane joy over and over again. And sometimes that joy is with a place, sometimes with a thing, but other times that joy is when you are with a person. I think it's a scary thing when it's a person. When you catch yourself looking at them a little longer than you should, when you brush off your normal group of friends because you really just want to talk with this one particular person, and you know that your group of compatriots, whether men or women, would just fuck it all up. I think it's funny that through all the time that Denji was going to see Rize, he never once decided to go to the cafe with Aki, his boy, his friend, his elder adopted brother. I know why. You know why. How do I know that both you and I know why? Because I think it's a pretty safe bet to make that you and I have both done something similar at some point. Brushed off your friends because there is someone you just really want to spend some time with, but you wouldn't dare introduce them to your friends, even though you might really want to. All of that is the joy that Rize and Denji share in their altogether brief moment living as country mice. It's of course in this moment that Rize asks Denji which he would rather prefer, which he would rather be. In character, he answers, the city mouse, of course, because the city mouse gets wonderful food. This is a bit tragic, I think, because Denji is answering literally and not quite reading into what Rize is really asking, which is of course in character for him, but nonetheless sort of sad. You see, Denji has always lived the life of the city mouse, because while the country mouse lives a life of serene, stable, quiet beauty, the city mouse is the one with higher highs and lower lows. The city mouse gets the best food and cuisine while struggling to survive in every single instant. This has been Rize's lot in life since she was born, I think, living as a city mouse, fighting and clawing and putting every single nano angstrom of her life on the line for each and every waking moment. And so this is why Rize wants to be the country mouse. She wants to stop fighting. She wants to just live in the moment. Because if you spend your entire life in constant stress, terror, and filled and glutted with violence and the extremes of life, if that was your existence, every waking moment, every time you woke up, every time you went to bed, wouldn't you want to just tease a boy in a cafe instead? If you spend your life living, being a weapon of terror and putting on 1,000 different faces and forms, wouldn't one single flower given to you matter more than 1,000 napalm-smelling victorious highs? I think it might. And so Rize goes along with it. Until the moment where she is reminded, until the moment where her little fantasy with Denji is broken and reality spills in. Which, by the way, is fantastic. Her face in the rain is magnificent. The asymmetrical expression and the movement really do lend themselves to the conclusion of just how close Rize is to snapping. I don't think she can believe she is actually getting this close to Denji. I don't think she can believe she is actually enjoying herself. She can't believe that she blinked and days have gone by with her enjoying messing around with him at a cafe. But she did. She did enjoy it. And now reality has infringed. And now she's been reminded. Has that ever happened to you? A similar moment like that? You're at the bowling ring with friends, and perhaps some people who are more than friends. You're having fun, laughing, smiling. Then you go to the bathroom, you go to wash your hands after all, because bowling balls are god-awful filthy. You look at yourself in the mirror, your dopey face still smoldering with the remnants of a smile. What was that smile from? Was it from a girl who was leaning against you just a bit too intimately? Was it from roughhousing with the boys? A crude joke that you know could destroy your life if it got out? Something else? It doesn't matter. You know it doesn't. The point is that the embers of the smile are still warm on your face as you look at yourself in the mirror. And then, in that instant, when your eyes meet those of the reflection, you remember. What the fuck am I doing? I'm a piece of shit. I'm faking all of this. I don't actually enjoy this. I can't actually be enjoying this. I'm not falling for her. I'm not falling for him, for them. I can't be. I refuse to be. You idiot. You fucking moron. Don't you remember what happened the last time you thought you were falling for someone? You thought you were caring about someone? In that moment, the electric light overhead in the bathroom flickers as you stare into your reflection's eyes. Maybe it wasn't that even. Maybe it was a movie you got done watching with friends in the middle of winter, and for a second you stop walking as they continue through the snow towards the car. You stand still as they vanish in the falling white. And then you remember you are alone? Or maybe it's a date you actually were having fun on, actually really enjoying yourself on, actually laughing, and time was actually moving so fast you couldn't feel it. And then at some point you notice that your face feels asymmetrical and your eye gives a slight twitch and you remember what you are. All of these reasons and more, I think, are why Rize wants to be the country mouse, which makes it all the more tragic when she's the one who panics after getting too close to Denji. Right? It's not him who makes the first move, who loses his cool. She is the one who asks Denji to run away at first, and when he answers inconclusively, she reacts explosively and violently. She goes to war with Denji and everyone and everything around him. Conclusively, we can say that Rize wanted to be the country mouse. Conclusively, we can say she wanted to run away with Denji. She just didn't know what she was feeling. But it's interesting, because one of the only times in the story where I think I can say that Rize was actually awkward was when she was asking Denji to run away with her. And I think it's because in many of her other scenes, she's always half acting, half enjoying the moment. I think she switches between the two so many times that even she doesn't know what she is anymore, hence the eye twitch in the rain. But when she asks him to run away, there I think we can be pretty certain that she really did just want to run. And Denji? Denji doesn't understand what she's asking. Not really. Not yet. It's still too early. We don't know exactly how old Rize is. Around Denji's age, I think. Maybe a bit older. Definitely a bit more worldly. So he doesn't really understand what she is asking when she says to run away with me. What he thinks she is asking is literally, run away with me, leave your life, your mates, your food, abandon it all for me. But what I think Rize is really asking is, do you want to be free together? Do you want to live quietly? I think what she's really asking Denji is this: please come with me. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want you to stop laughing and spitting flowers. I don't want you to drink over acidic tea and not make a face. I don't want you to be hurt the way I was hurt. Because though the collar around Rize's neck was steel and the one around Denji's is silk, they are still collars. Collars that turn them into weapons. Denji thinks he wants the life of the city mouse. This is only because of circumstance. What he wants is good food, good company, a home. That is the desire of the country mouse, you see. Simple serenity. The city mouse lives a life of soaring highs and crushing lows. His kin are eaten and ripped apart by dogs and cats, but he gorges upon the best experiences that life has to offer, in exchange for risk, for stress, for terror. And I think that near the end, when Denji asks Rize again to run away with him, it is in this moment he begins to understand what he is, what he wants. And in the same moment, Rize finally stops moving counter to her own wants. In a moment of rashness that reveals truly just how much she cared, she goes to him. They both live as city mice now. They both live with risk and terror and pain alongside the heights of joy, food, and experience. But maybe, just maybe, they could make it work together if they ran away. In the end, too little, too late. When Makima relates to how country mice are killed, I was hit by an alien sense of déjà vu. Because I, who lived close to the edge of the wilderness while growing up, knew that reality. Squirrels, rabbits, mice, and rats, most of all, they aren't any safer in the country than in the city. I've always loved animals of all sorts. Not to say in like a silly or stupid way. I knew as a boy that if I wandered out alone into the desert at night, no coyote or bear or wolf would think twice about snacking on me, but I still loved animals all the same. I still do. But it is also true that in those places of wilderness, certain kinds of animals can have an entropic effect on human infrastructure. Delicate wiring, plastic water pipes, fuse boxes, and the like. Rats and squirrels make messes of all of it and destroy it for nests. And so men do what they always do. They get dogs, they get cats, they get small sports, rifles, and set to work. I didn't much like it as a boy. I really didn't. Gunfire upset me. At least it used to when I was a kid. Men and dogs and cats would massacre these smaller creatures because it was necessary. Because without the death, the instruments and infrastructure of mankind would begin to come apart. Power, water, communication, it would stop working. I wished at that time in my life that there was some way to communicate with the rodents, to tell them to build their nests anywhere else. I wish there was some way to communicate with the adults because I was a kid, and why couldn't there? Is there no other way? So when Makima speaks to Rize about the nature of the country mouse, I remembered. And when Makima says she feels a strange comfort watching hounds rip apart the nests of mice, I had to wonder why. I have to ask, what is it a character such as this sees? I've been thinking a lot about that, what her eyes were looking at, what she saw, and I think I've come to a kind of conclusion, though it's faulty and limited. It's not a finalized thesis statement. I think she finds a comfort in that because in many ways we are no different from the mice. At any time, our lives can be upended, our homes invaded, our safety and security can vanish. I think Makima finds a comfort in the order of that, in the fact that even something as small and insignificant as a field mouse cannot escape. For her, country mouse, city mouse, who cares about the difference? It's not really what's important to her. But nonetheless, I ask. Even if the question seems meaningless, I'm still going to ask it. I want to know if you value a serene and peaceful life. I want to know if you will fight like mad for that security and safety. I want to know if you'd run away from a blissful hell for it. Or would you prefer to put it all on the line? Would you rather live a life less predictable, less traditional? Would you want to experience the highs and lows so extreme that they threaten your very sanity? I'd like to know, and I'd like to know why. So I'm going to ask you again, my friend. What kind of mouse are you?